Alright, guys, this is part two of um dumb ways people died and embarrassing way yes, embarrassingly um dumb ways people died, part two.
Safety first. The saying, practice what you preach, has never been more ironically fitting than in the case of one man who met his untimely demise in Australia in 2017. While filming a forklift safety video, the owner of a safety training school was thrown from the forklift he was driving and fatally crushed by his payload. An investigation revealed that, despite what the intentions of the video had been, the man had broken several crucial rules to forklift safety. He was driving over rough, uneven terrain at high speed, all while not wearing a seatbelt. Alongside an unhealthy sprinkling of driver error, it proved that sometimes you really should listen to your own advice. Don't go chasing waterfalls. And
that's not a TLC reference. I'm sick of people telling me that is. I don't even watch that network, bro. Get it together. Hot damn almighty, you get it together.
Most rational people can easily conclude safety advice displayed at dangerous locations tend to be there for a reason. Not so bright people, however, often seem to have problems grasping this idea. This was proven by one woman on a pleasure trip to a natural waterfall at a tourist hotspot in Cauca, Colombia in January 2020. While searching for the perfect selfie angle, the woman ignored safety warnings about wandering too close to the edge of the waterfall. Paying more attention to her phone than where she was headed, she ended up plummeting over the waterfall's edge, straight down into the boulder and rock-filled pool below. The hard landing caused enough damage to her skull to set her expiry date to right there, right then. How many misguided lives will be lost before people finally learn selfies are never worth dying over?
Tell that to the people who used to plank for
This is why you don't do
like
stupid
17
stuff.
of those people died.
Don't
Plank on the end of a cliff. What were you thinking?
People. Just
Vending fatality. At some point, you may have heard you shouldn't shake a vending machine because it might fall on you. But nobody ever believes that's ever actually happened, right? Well, as it turns out, it actually did happen back in 1984 in Safety Harbor, Florida. As a newspaper article from the time recounts, a man had been attempting to get a can of soda from the vending machine in his apartment complex's recreation center. Whether he paid his cash and the machine failed to dispense his goods, or whether he just decided to shake it to try and get a free drink, remains unclear to this day.
That's a free drink shake, bro. I've lifted a
I did shake one of them.
vending
It didn't kill me.
for free drinks. You'd be surprised how hard you got to shake one of these things to not steal the soft drinks out of it. Pretty rough.
All that's known for sure is that an hour later, the thirsty fella was found utterly crushed with the vending machine on top of him. Yeesh. Going by this tale, if you want to stay safe, Safety Harbor is not the place to go.
Or just drink juice. Duh.
Especially if you're thirsty.
Some reason I did shake
Troublesome transport. In 2020, a poorly chosen seating arrangement on a bus resulted in the unexpected demise of several people in Manitou, India. While being transported to a wedding venue on a very overcrowded bus, several of the guests climbed up onto the rooftop for the ride. This was, of course, already a very risky idea, from the risk of falling off alone. But it wasn't a fall that proved to be these rooftop riders' ruin. Their downfall came, instead, in the form of some high-tension, relatively low-hanging electrical wires. At their lofty perch, the riders were at head level with the wires, and before they had the chance to react, 3 of them struck the exposed wire directly and were electrocuted. One was killed instantly. Another succumbed to his injuries later, while the third survived, albeit thoroughly fried. Next time, I've got a feeling he'll just wait for the next bus to come instead.
Yeah, that's fact. We need it.
Watching the skies. If an opportunity presented itself for you to communicate with extraterrestrials, would you take it? And if so, how far would you go to make sure you didn't let the chance pass you by? Well, one woman put the chance to commune with little green men above her own safety back in 1982. Believing she'd been contacted by some type of intergalactic power, she convinced a willing companion to accompany her in carrying out the instructions of her alien contact.
AKA a thirsty man. She found a dude who was hard up for vagina and told him, you know what, we're going to go catch some aliens. And if you do, I'll think about it.
She claimed they'd commanded her to drive out to an isolated location in the northeastern Minnesota wilderness and await further instruction.
Oh, no.
Assuming this would be a hugely significant moment in the interstellar advancement of humankind, the pair did exactly that, despite the extremely snowy winter weather. Once parked up in the designated location, they dutifully awaited the arrival of their extraterrestrial acquaintances. And they waited. And waited.
Why?
And waited. Unfortunately, their food supplies ran out after a week, and they lost access to water when the nearby lake froze over. Still, they refused to leave their post on the off chance that the aliens appeared while they were gone. Putting total faith in the idea that the aliens would appear before anything bad happened to either of them, they stayed in the freezing cold with nothing to eat or drink. Eventually, frozen, starving, and fatally dehydrated, the woman died. Shortly after, the man accompanying her, in his much weakened state and with the car having been rendered unusable by the icy conditions, crawled through a quarter-mile of snow to save himself. He survived, but his alien contacting partner did not, and their little green guests never showed up. I guess the aliens must have got the wrong address.
Alright, that's it for part 2.